Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hi, I'm Belle.
Welcome to DBN. Today we have
Ethan doing endangered species,
Tyler doing Chinese spy balloons and UFOs,
Talon doing Ohio trained element,
Kingsley doing Jason Tatum and the basketball history,
Molly doing inflation,
Belle doing stray dogs in the United States,
Andrew doing Jefferson Jefferson or Tariq.
So that's the schedule.
Ethan, take it away.
Today we will be talking about endangered species so more people will be aware about habitat loss and the disappearance of all these amazing creatures. The first endangered animal we're going to talk about is the vaquita. The vaquita is a species of porpoise and is endemic to the northern end of the Gulf of California in Baja California, Mexico. Reaching a maximum body length of 140 to 150 centimeters, it is the smallest of all living cetaceans, which are whales, in the whole world. Speaking of whales, the second endangered animal we're going to talk about is the blue whale. The blue whale is a marine mammal and a baleen whale, reaching a massive maximum length of 29.9 meters and weighing up to 199 tons. This is the largest animal ever known to exist. The blue whale's slender body can have a variety of different color shades. It's mostly grayish blue dorsally, and the colors are somewhat lighter underneath the whale. We are on to the third endangered animal, which is the saola. The saola has many different nicknames, some of them being spindlehorn, Asian unicorn, or infrequently called vu quang bovide. Whatever you'd like to call them, they're one of the world's rarest large mammals. They're a forest-dwelling bovide native to the Animatic Range in Vietnam and Laos. The fourth endangered animal we'll cover is the axolotl. The axolotl is a rare species of salamander that can be found in Lake Xochimilco or Lake Chaco in New Mexico. Around 700 to 1,200 exist in the wild and in captivity, which makes me feel bad about habitat loss. According to San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance, axolotls are neotonic, meaning they keep juvenile characteristics into adulthood. That is one of many cool features the axolotl has. Another cool feature about the axolotl is they are so transparent you can see their organs. In my opinion, that's fascinating and gross at the same time. The third and probably the biggest feature about the axolotl is they can regenerate body parts. You may be thinking that humans can already do that, so what's so special about that? Crazy enough, axolotls can regenerate more than we can do. They can regenerate their limbs, lungs, heart, and even parts of their brain. Scientists said that they are working on analyzing the axolotl and trying to mimic the behavior of how they regenerate so fast. Then they'll put that amazing ability into human medicine. Also, axolotls are 1,000 times more resistant to cancer than mammals, a superpower worth investigating. Did you know axolotls come in many varieties of colors? The most common color that is found is the color black melanoid. Some axolotls are specifically bred by people to get the certain shade they want. That is enough about the axolotl, and moving on to the last amazing endangered animal, the leatherback sea turtle. The leatherback sea turtle is a turtle that lacks a hard shell and has a shell that looks like it's made out of leather. These cute sea turtles are found in a wide variety of ocean environments. The carapace of the turtle is large, elongated, and flexible with 7 distinct ridges running the length of the turtle. According to the Sea Turtle Conservancy, the carapace of the turtle is composed of a thin layer of tough rubber skin and is strengthened by thousands of tiny bone plates. The carapace is dark gray or black with white or pale spots, while the plastron is whitish to black and marked by 5 ridges. Hatchlings have beautiful white blotches on their carapace, which I would like to see in real life. In my opinion, I would love to see all of these fascinating creatures, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
Why would anybody hurt these animals?
Yeah.
Tyler,
you're on.
Thank you for tuning in. My name is Tyler, and today I will be talking about the Chinese spy balloon and UFOs. On January 28, 2023, a Chinese spy balloon was noticed by the United States in Alaska and shot down on February 4th in South Carolina. After it was shot down, it landed in the Atlantic Ocean. We know these balloons are all part of a People's Republic of China fleet of balloons developed to conduct surveillance operations, according to a senior State Department official who spoke with CNN. Pieces of the balloon have been recovered and were brought to the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia for analysis. The United States believes that what has been recovered is beneficial to our intelligence. According to Wikipedia, the Chinese government said that a civilian aircraft was used for meteorological purposes, and they have protested the shooting down of the balloon. According to the New York Times, 3 other objects have been shot down since. On February 10th, the first of the 3 UFOs was shot down by a United States fighter jet over the waters of Alaska. It was recovered shortly after. On February 11th, another one was shot down over the Yukon Territory in Canada. A third UFO was shot down over Lake Huron on February 12, 2023. Hopefully this is nothing to worry about. Thank you for listening to my report on the spy balloons.
Wow, I always thought UFOs were fake.
Same.
Hit it, Talon.
The Norfolk Southern train derailment on February 3, 2023 in East Palestine, Ohio. It's similar to the 1986 Chernobyl disaster. According to insiders, the train had 150 cars. 10 of the 50 cars that crashed carried many hazardous materials in them. The toxicity of these chemicals prompt concerns about the health and safety of the 4,700 frightened residents. Some people are experiencing symptoms like vomiting, difficulty with breathing, and eye and skin irritation. Environmental regulators say drinking water has not been affected, but experts don't yet know what the long-term health effects will be. According to the New York Times, the Ohio Attorney General filed a lawsuit against the Norfolk Southern Railroad, stating the derailment was their fault. According to the CEO of the railroad apologized to Congress, but he has not promised to pay for the long-term damage to the health or the environment. According to the Guardian, the government of Ohio is trying to clean up the mess, but they are trying to get the Norfolk people to pay to clean the air, the streams, and the soil. Now 44,000 animals have died at an alarming rate. An estimated 5,500 small fish and 38,000 minnows have been found dead in local streams. Residents have also reported dead chickens and many other animals in an 8-mile radius. If the Norfolk Southern people don't help local residents, I hope that the Ohio government will.
I can't believe the air is polluted. How do they breathe?
Yeah, won't they die? Next, Kingsley.
Hi, I'm Kingsley, and today I'll be talking about Jason Tatum on the Boston Celtics and their history of basketball. The Boston Celtics is one of the most famous basketball teams ever. I would have to say, they do a very great job. In my opinion, Jason Tatum is the best player. According to ESPN News, Jason Tatum is ranked as the 7th player in the league. Also, did you know that the Celtics have won 17 NBA championships, and they have won the most championships in the NBA? The Celtics' highest record was 48-22. Moving on, I have some interesting history facts about basketball. According to Ducksters.com, in early December 1891, James Naismith, a Canadian physical education teacher at Springfield College, Massachusetts, invented an indoor game called basketball. The first basketball game was played at the International Young Men's Christian Association in Springfield, Mass. Also, did you know that basketball was originally played with a soccer ball in 1929? Also, slam dunks were illegal from 1967 to 1976 because of injury concerns. Basketball is the highest paid sport in the world. The average salary for an NBA player in 2023 is $8.5 million. Next, I have facts about Jason Tatum. Jason was born on March 3, 1999. In St. Louis, Montana. Jason is 6'8" and is the youngest player to ever score at least 20 points in the 4 consecutive playoff games. Also, a weird but funny fact about him is that he calls his mother Superwoman. He also became the first player in NBA history to score within the 3rd overall in 2017, and at least 50 points in the regular season. In the playoff games and All-Star game. I hope you guys enjoyed me talking about basketball and the history of it.
I can't believe slam dunks were legal, the big parts of the game.
I know, right? Okay, now we have Molly doing inflation.
Hello, my name is Molly, and today on DBN I'm going to be talking about inflation. Inflation is when the regular price of something goes up because of shortage or employee shortage. Inflation also happened in the 1970s, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. Let's take gas. In 2019, gas used to be $2.55 a gallon, and to fill a car all the way, it was $62.73. But now in 2023, it's $3.55 a gallon and almost $94 to fill the car's gas container. For example, let's take a car company, Ford. In 2019, my dad's Ford Super Duty used to cost $77,814, but now it went up a whole nother $10,000. So because of inflation, cars can cost a whole lot more. Cars cost way too much now. ABC News asked, is now a good time to buy a car? And will mortgage rates improve? And even car parts are going up. ABC News also says that car parts are rising even faster than inflation itself. According to Kittle, tons of people think that inflation is bad, but it affects different people in different ways. I agree with this because the people that made the products are making all the money, so that's very good when the prices are high for money. According to ABC News, the rate of inflation has gone up 0.4% since last month, just below January's 0.5% rise. This means that the cost of things from January has gone up 0.5% from regular prices, so all the prices have gone up 0.9%. Thank you for listening to my article on inflation, and I hope that you take this into consideration. Now back over to Bill and Andrew.
Yeah, when I go to the store, everything is double the price.
Yeah, I know.
Now over to Andrew.
Have you heard that debate about who's better at wide receivers, Tyreek on the Dolphins or Jefferson on the Vikings? Well, today I'm going to end the debate. First, we'll start with Jefferson. According to StatPros.com, Jefferson, or better known as Jay Jettis, has racked over 4,825 receiving yards in 50 games. Jefferson can also come down with about 68.1% of the passes that come his way. Jefferson's longest passing catch was 71 yards. Jefferson's biggest weapon is his hands. For example, the Buffalo Bills game on 4th down and 18 yards to go, Kirk Cousins got the snap, backed up in the pocket, and threw the ball downfield to Jefferson. Bam! He caught out the defender's hand and ended up winning the game. Now let's go back in time to when Jefferson was at the NFL Rookie Combine. According to NFLCombineResults.com, his 40-yard dash was 4.44 seconds. He is 6'1" and weighs 202 pounds. While doing the passing drill, he didn't drop a ball the whole time. Jefferson's vertical leap is 37.5 inches, while his wingspan is 78 inches. Jefferson was drafted in the first round by the Minnesota Vikings and came out of Louisiana State, LSU. When he was in LSU, Justin Jefferson caught the ball 111 times for a total of 1,540 yards and 18 touchdowns. According to ESPN, Justin Jefferson is trying to put his team on his back and win a Super Bowl. It would be possible to put his team on a back and win a Super Bowl, but putting his team on his back would be hard because Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook are on his team. According to Adolph Mensa, Jefferson is not looking for a lot of money. He just plays for fun. Jefferson doesn't really want a new contract, as he states, if it comes, it comes. It's not really something I'm looking for or have my mind on. Okay, so now you know about Justin Jefferson. Let's talk about Tyreek Hill. According to StatPros.com, Tyreek has a total of 8,340 yards and 63 touchdowns in 108 games. Tyreek can come down with about 68.1% of the throws that come his way. And guess what? That's the same as Justin Jefferson. Tyreek's longest catch was 79 yards. Tyreek's biggest weapon is speed. He can burn past defenders and leave them wondering. No wonder his nickname is the Cheetah. According to NFLCombineResults.com, when Tyreek was at the NFL Combine, his 40-yard dash was 4.21 seconds, and he can run 22.3 miles per hour. He can bench press 225 pounds and jump 37.5 inches. Tyreek's wingspan is 72.5 inches, his weight is 185 pounds, and his height is 68.13 inches. Tyreek was drafted in 2016 and came out of West Alabama College. According to ESPN, Tyreek wanted to change his contract right when it ended because the Chiefs underpaid and the Dolphins had a big contract. In conclusion, Jefferson is better, but not by much though. It was close. Tyreek may have been only one catch away from being better.
I don't know why Justin Jefferson was so good.
Last but not least, Belle.
Hi, this is Belle. I'm reporting on stray dogs in the United States. Okay, let's get started with how many dogs are on the street. There's about 6.3 million, which is sad, and it's too much. Also, there's about 3.1 million dogs in shelters every day, and there are only 390,000 shelters. Speaking about shelters, there is a story about shelters closing. According to the SPCA, the shelters that closed in Monroe, Connecticut on March 6th, they closed with 18 dogs and 14 cats, and most of them were there for most of their lives. It's so sad. Some of the names are Rebe, Muklum, Odie, Dottie, Feathers, and Chloe. They are cats. Then we have the dogs, Pepper, Max, and Ace. Hopefully they give these animals to other shelters or find homes for them. Normally they will get euthanized. In the United States, 400,000 animals in these shelters are euthanized. Poor animals. It makes me very sad to hear things like that. When life for these owners is extremely difficult, they abandon them, then the dogs are left with a physical trauma that can never fully heal. Life for these stray dogs stray animals is extremely difficult. They are vulnerable to diseases and infections. Diseases like parasites, most dogs get run over by cars. Also vulnerable to elements like hot and cold weather. And some will be attacked by both humans and other animals. Also harming themselves by eating and drinking substances that are dangerous to them. Also, if the owner is on the street, someone can report the dog not having a good home or not having a good owner, or they run away. Also, they could get lost and what I said before, get run over by cars. Also, there's no easy answer to the growing number of stray dogs, but there's ways to help. Some people pick them up from the street that is very difficult and bring them to shelters nearby. Or some dog people might bring them home and take care of the dog and even cats, then give them to the shelter the next morning. Also, they could adopt the dog and they helped. Since we're talking about helping stray dogs, this is one website that helps big time with stray dogs and other animals. Their name is PETA. You can donate to them, help stray dogs. That's my article about stray dogs. Spooning out from DBN, and this is your reporter, Belle. Bye.
People need to take better care of their dogs.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next time on DBN.
Hello and welcome to
LNN. First up, we have Ava with hurricanes.
Then Alessandra with chores and whether they're good for kids.
Next, we have Owen with stolen monkeys.
Then Kellen talks about the snow drought.
After that, we have Jacob talk about animal abuse.
Next, we have Zach with NFL news.
Then Phoebe with plastic in the ocean.
Then last but not least, we have Noah with baseball news.
Now over to Ava with hurricanes.
Hi, my name is Ava, and today I'm talking about disastrous hurricanes. First, I'll start with the categories on the wind speed. In the first category, the wind speed goes up to 74 to 95 miles per hour. In the second category, the wind speed goes up to 96 to 110 miles per hour. In the third category, the wind speed goes up to 111 to 129 miles per hour. In the fourth category, the wind speed goes up to 130 to 156 miles per hour. And lastly, in the fifth category, the wind speed goes up to 157 miles per hour and even more. Here are some facts about hurricanes. In the middle of the hurricane is called the eye and has no clouds in it. Hurricanes usually form close to the equator. In every hurricane, the town usually loses about $20.5 billion. From the hurricanes that have happened throughout 1980 and 2021, 6,697 people have died. Every hurricane produces heavy rainfall and strong winds. If you are in space, you can see the eye of the hurricane as a cloud-free spot. Here's some history about hurricanes. For several hundred years, hurricanes are named after saints, but then Australian meteorologist Clement Rage began to give women's names for hurricanes. Then he also started using men's names, but they were politicans he hated. Here are some facts about the last hurricane, Hurricane Ian. According to Britannica, Hurricane Ian killed 5 people in North Carolina, 1 in Virginia, and 5 in Cuba. In Florida, Hurricane Ian damaged 30,000 homes. In Cuba, it damaged 68,000 homes. It did minor damage to 16,314 structures. According to Vox, Hurricane Ian was the most deadliest hurricane in the United States since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Here are a couple facts on how to evacuate when a hurricane happens. When you know the hurricane is coming soon, you want to pack a bag with lots of food and water, and also pack other necessary things too. You want to get into a very safe shelter. You also do not want to be close to any doors that lead outside or windows. Be ready for water to come into your house. I hope you learned a lot. Now that's it for today. Now back to Noah and Phoebe.
Wow, I never knew how many people suffered from a hurricane.
Me neither.
Now let's hand it over to Alessandra with chores.
If you want to give your children chores to do, make sure that the child is 6 years old and make sure that the chores is age appropriate. When your children are young, they can put their toys in a toy basket and clothes in a hamper. When your children are older, they can help more and do harder chores. They can do the dishes, set up a table, and fold their laundry. Children can also help with cooking dinner, taking out the trash, and cleaning their rooms. What are the pros of having your children do chores? Giving your children chores can boost their self-esteem. It gives them time to think. Chores can build great life skills such as cleaning, cooking, and housekeeping. They can learn to have responsibility. They feel important. It helps the parents' workload. If you want to give your children chores to do, then make sure they won't do simple tasks like picking up socks. What are the cons of giving chores to children? Children have a lot of homework and already feel stressed. Talk to your child and find a good balance between chores and other activities. Kids can be clumsy, so make sure that the chores are safe for their age. When something gets broken, it is a great time to teach your children about owning up to it. So if you want to give your children chores, then make flashcards, write it on a whiteboard or chalkboard. The last suggestion is to write it on a paper. Thanks for listening about chores. Off to Noah and Phoebe.
Wow, I agree with Alessandra.
I know, right? Such a good message.
Next up is Owen with Stolen Monkeys.
Hi, I'm Owen, and I will tell you about some stolen monkeys. Have you ever been to a zoo? If you have, you would probably be like me, thinking they're all safe. No, they're not exactly safe. According to Fox News, Dave and Ivan show 2 emperor tamarin monkeys from the Dallas Zoo. They were found missing by the care team in late January. The names of the monkeys are Bella and Finn. The next day, Bella and Finn were found in a closet in an abandoned building in Lancaster. Bella and Finn were found uninjured and returned to the zoo. Two days later, Ivan was arrested after some reports of him checking out the mesh enclosures at the Dallas World Aquarium. Ivan said he's still more released. In February, they said they would make more security upgrades. Plus, he released a clouded leopard named Nova, cut open an enclosure for rainbow monkeys, and they don't know if he was involved in a death of an endangered vulture. But if we take a look at Louisiana, according to CNN News, a dozen straw monkeys were stolen, and it's 2 days before Bella and Finn were stolen from the Dallas Zoo. The zoo said the person who stole the animal broke into Louisiana and Rostar just before midnight. When the police reviewed the video footage, the suspect, Joseph Raymond Randall, was tied into the theft of the straw monkeys. Randall was charged with 12 counts of animal cruelty and 1 count of burglary. Straw monkeys have not been found yet. Also, the straw monkeys are native to South America and have the average lifespan of 21 years. So if they aren't taken care of properly, they could all die easily. Well, now you know how these monkeys were stolen. Thanks for listening, and look out for our little friends.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Next up is Kellen with the snow drought.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Kellen. I'm going to be talking to you about the snow drought going on in the Northeast. Although it has snowed some lately, we are below average for snowfall. Back in 2015, Boston broke the snowfall record with 110.3 inches of snow one winter. But that snowfall rate has gone down over the years. In 2020, Boston, Massachusetts only received 21.6 inches the whole winter. What's happening? According to CNN News, we are more than halfway through the winter, and cities such as New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. have received less than an inch of snowfall. And those aren't the only cities that are below average. Lately, snowfall has been reduced by 3 feet, says Greg Carblin from the Weather Prediction Center. He said that there are 2 types of snow droughts. One is when there are small amounts of precipitation, rain, or snow. These are normal drought conditions. The other type, he says, is when precipitation amounts are normal, but falls mostly as rain because it's too warm for snow. The Northeast has a second drought. Along I-95, says Carblin, there's normal to above normal precipitation, but it's mostly rain, not snow. Lately, it's been too warm for snow. However, according to the Weather Prediction Center, snowfall in the west is way above average with a shocking 20 to 40 feet in the higher elevation areas. The east is experiencing the opposite with below average snowfall. According to the U.S. National Climate Assessment, there will be longer periods without snow, especially with the Northeast. As it gets warmer, they say, the snow-rain line will move farther north, causing more rainy winters. And the snow drought isn't only hitting the Northeast. According to CNN News, winter is the fastest warming season for 75% of 238 U.S. locations. That's crazy. As of January 23rd, Central Park didn't receive any snow for 319 days. Whoa. According to the National Weather Service, the weather has been following the La Niña pattern across the Northeast. This means that the storms and cold air have been traveling to the northwest
part of the Northeast. La Niña is characterized by below normal sea surface temperatures in the Pacific by the equator, and this is caused by shifting wind patterns in the atmosphere. Thanks for listening to my news. Now, Noah and Phoebe, back to you.
I know that. Oh no, that's bad.
I know, right?
Over to Jacob with animal abuse.
Did you know that according to Animal Kill Clock, 10 million animals die from being abused each year in the United States alone? That's a lot. Animal abuse is really common at places like aquariums. Do you know how they train their sea animals? Well, the answer is they abuse them. If they don't listen to the trainers, then they would hit them. I also think it's not fair that they have to live in a small area. An example is the SeaWorld Aquarium. A lot of the sea animals get abused because a bunch of their trainers are not experienced with sea animals. Another example is circuses. At circuses, animals also get abused because people are smacking them with sticks called bullhooks. Especially elephants, they get abused and deprived. Abusing animals is against the law. If you abuse an animal, you can get arrested or put in jail. The requirements of having an animal are you must provide them shelter, food, water, and medical treatment. Many countries have laws against animal cruelty, one of them being the United States. Horses also get abused in horse races. The horses that don't win or stop winning usually get shipped to Canada, Mexico, or Japan to be slaughtered for meat if they're still young. Some horses are even killed at 5 or 6 years old, even though they can live up to 30 years old. Horses that race usually never have freedom or get to spend time with other horses because they are always being dragged around to do other races. They make horses race at just 2 years old. That means their bones are still growing and their bodies are not ready for racing yet. When horses get hurt in races, they don't let them rest or recover. They have doctors come and give them drugs. Horse racing is cruel because they are giants that can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. And when you're heavy, it's hard to run. Even though those animals get abused a lot, Petpedia says 65% of it is inflicted on dogs. Dogs all around the United States get abused every day. 1.2 million dogs die each year in the United States alone. But the sad part is that only 0.001% of those cases are reported. I hope we can stop animal abuse from happening, and thank you for listening.
Oh no, so many animals are abused.
Yeah, so sad.
Next up is Zach with NFL News.
Hi, I'm Zach. Did you know that Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers could sign with the New York Jets? The Jets and the Packers have had conversations about Aaron Rodgers' potential trade. The Jets have also talked with Rodgers. Although Rodgers is a 4-time MVP, the Packers are still considering getting rid of him. Probably because he just came off one of the worst seasons of his career, and maybe because he is 39 years old. But he can make the Jets way better. The meeting between the Jets and Rodgers still leaves everything unclear whether the trade will happen or not, leaving the fans curious about his team next season. Sports Illustrated asked, what could the Packers get for trading Rodgers? They also said in a headline, Jets better off waiting for Aaron Rodgers than signing Derek Carr. Recently, Derek Carr signed with the New Orleans Saints. Star cornerback Sauce Gardner of the Jets tweets to Rodgers, I'll promise if you become a Jet, I won't pick you off in practice and I'll burn the cheesehead. Rodgers' team next season is still to be undecided. The quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, is likely to be traded to the Atlanta Falcons or San Francisco 49ers. Lamar would be a good fit for the 49ers, with Jimmy Garoppolo potentially being traded and Trey Lance being a bust. But the Falcons are willing to give a lot for Jackson, such as multiple first-round picks. Lamar turned down a $200 million contract from the Ravens. Lamar still needs an agent. Fans wonder if that will stop Jackson from getting the contract he wants. Lamar did say he will not hire an agent. Yahoo Sports said, Lamar Jackson probably should have taken the deal. Therefore, Lamar Jackson will be entering free agency next season. DeAndre Hopkins has been an Arizona Cardinal for a long time, and the coaches think it's time for him to go. The Patriots have said they might trade for Hopkins and only have to give away a second or third round pick. Bill Belichick says he has good hands, and even when he is covered, he comes down with the ball in his hands. Mac Jones will have a rough season in the passing game if Hopkins doesn't go to New England because Jacoby Myers is leaving the Patriots. Hopkins still has 2 years left on his contract with the Cardinals. Jimmy Garoppolo is quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, and he just got surgery. But before the surgery, the Commanders had a trade in place with the 49ers. And what does that have to do with anything? Jimmy was in the trade. The Buccaneers are starting to look at Jimmy to replace Tom Brady. But how much will it cost the Bucs to make that trade? I wonder where Garoppolo will be next season. I think the season will be a great season to watch next year. Thanks for listening.
Let's hope this season is a good one.
Yeah, good job, Zach.
Next up is Phoebe with plastic in the ocean.
Hello, I'm Phoebe, and I'm here to warn you about plastic and toxic waste in the ocean. Most people don't know that 80% of ocean animals die or get severely injured by plastic. So many animals like fish, sharks, and turtles get harmed by plastic, by things like food bags, straws, beverage bottles, and takeout containers. If they are not killed, they are severely harmed by plastic that is dumped into the ocean. Did you know 3% of the population throws plastic in the ocean? You may not think that's much, but it's still 2.53 billion people. Are you one of them? I hope not, because 14 million tons of plastic are thrown into the ocean, and it multiplies by 2 each year. According to a site called Haarlander, 1 in 3 fish that is caught for human consumption contains small bits of plastic. That's gross, right? Everyone who puts plastic in the ocean is helping to contribute to that. In the year 2020, the number of plastic in the ocean was greater than the number of fish. Can you imagine? And there are 3.5 trillion fish in the ocean. I mean, on United Kingdom beaches, 5,000 pieces of plastic and 150 plastic bottles pollute beaches each mile. And if you think that's much, 7.5 million straws are on U.S. coastlines. It's truly sick what we have done to our beaches. There are some things we can do to help our oceans. We can cut down the amount of plastic we use, or you can not openly throw plastic in our seas. Some more suggestions by the Ocean Society is that you can try your best to recycle properly or avoid using products with microbeads. Microbeads are made of plastic. They are non-biodegradable. This means they take a hard time to break down, and because of their small size, it's impossible to take them out of watering systems and from the environment. By using these tips, you can help save our oceans. Thank you for your time, and try your best not to pollute our oceans.
That's a lot of plastic.
Over to Noah with baseball news.
As a prediction for this baseball season, Jared Scheinfeld from ESPN says Aaron Judge from the Yankees won't hit 62 home runs again. Jared Klenick from the Mariners will likely hit better than 141. The Dodgers won't win 111 games. The Nationals will lose 107 again. ESPN says every season we get a team or teams that had a bad losing streak last season and then make it to the playoffs in the next. In 2022, it was the Mets, the Guardians, and the Padres. This year, I think it'll be the Red Sox and Oakland. The Red Sox have traded Mookie Betts and David Price for Alex Verdugo and catcher Connor Wong from the Dodgers. For this season's draft, the Pirates are going first. Now it's time for a little history on baseball. Abner Doubleday is said to have made baseball before the Civil War. It was one of the best pastimes during that time. During World War I, 227 major leagues served in various branches of the military. Among them are future Hall of Famers, including Christy Mathewson, Branch Rickey, George Sister, and Ty Cobb, baseballhall.org said. In World War II, 500 major leagues were made. 37 Hall of Famers were all serving in their World War in their prime time. Now I'll tell you about Abner Doubleday. He commanded men in many battles from 1862 to 1863. His battles were Second Battle of Bull Run, Manassas, the Battle of South Mountain, Battle of Antietam, Sharpsburg, Battle of Fredericksburg, and most significantly at the Battle of Gettysburg. A native of New York, Doubleday graduated from West Point and served during the Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848. In 1861, he was second in command at Fort Sumner, where he ordered the Union's first shots fired at the Civil War in response to the bombardment by secessionist forces. Abner Doubleday went on to become a Major General of Volunteers, a division commander in the Union's Army of Potomac. On the first day of the Battle of Gettysburg, Doubleday took over the First Corps of the Army of Potomac when its commander was killed. I hope I'll see you on the field. Back to Noah and Phoebe. Wow, I never knew baseball was that cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to LNN. Bye.
Hi, my name is Cam.
And my name is Sawyer.
And you're listening to
LNC. First we have Andrew with the history of American football.
Next we have Kiana with water pollution.
Then Abby doing animal testing awareness.
Next up is Ander with Rubik's Cubes.
Then Lily telling us about homelessness in America.
And afterwards Sawyer on the history of lacrosse and how to play it.
And last but not least, Cam with the Ice Hotel in Sweden.
Over to Andrew.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and we're going to tell you about the history of American football. American football first became an official sport on November 6, 1869. The game was between Rutgers and Princeton, using rules based on the rules of soccer or football at the time. Now that you have a little bit of background, let's get to the whole history of American football. American football started out as a cross between early versions of soccer and rugby. The first ever football game was between Rutgers University and Princeton University on November 6, 1869 at New Brunswick, New Jersey. By 1880, Walter Camp, also known as the father of American football, proposed rule changes such as making the line of scrimmage, the snap from center to quarterback, and cutting down the players on the field from 15 to 11. Camp also proposed other rule changes to football, including introducing the All-American teams and helping create the NCAA, National Collegiate Athletic Association, and having a more speed and skill type game. This change helped have less injuries and deaths from the sport. In 1892, William Pudge Heffelfinger became the first football player to get paid $500 to play for the Allegheny Athletic Association. According to the Chronology of Professional Football, John Brawlier was the first football player to openly turn pro, getting $10 in expenses to play for the Latrobe YMCA against the Jeannette Athletic Club. The Latrobe Athletic Association became the first fully professional team in 1869. According to Business Upside, History of American Football YouTube video, ancient Greeks played a game called episkros. It had similar rules like throwing the ball to someone and trying not to get tackled at the same time. According to the History of American Football timeline, Softschool.com, the oldest team ever was the Arizona Cardinals, but they did not start out as the Arizona Cardinals. In 1899, they started out as a neighborhood team on the south side of Chicago. They were known as the Morgan Athletic Club, then the Normals, then later they changed to the Arizona Cardinals. In 1920, the NFL, National Football League, started out, and football had three major problems. First, they really raised the players' salary. Second, players kept going from team to team. And third, the use of college players still enrolled in their schools. After 1980, the NFL had 3 division games of 26 teams and only 8 made it to the playoffs. In the year 2000, the GOAT, greatest of all time, Tom Brady, was drafted to the NFL. And by 2002, pro football had reached its peak, making an immense impact on American youth and paving the careers for some of the greatest football players known to us. On August 6th, the NFL selected Roger Goodell to be the commissioner, and on November 19, 2006, Jerry Rice, the greatest wide receiver in the history of the NFL, officially marked his retirement from football as the NFL's all-time leader in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. Back in 1921, the second year of the NFL, or as they called it back then, the APFA, American Professional Football Association, had a team called the Tonawanda Carducks that had the shortest franchise in the NFL. Their franchise was only 1 game long. Also, in 1921 is when the Green Bay Packers season started. They got $500 from a meat packing company. In 1922, the Chicago Steelers changed their name to the Bears because the other team that played in the stadium was the Chicago Cubs, but they played in the MLB. The owner of the Bears wanted to connect their team to a more established team. In 1922, the league changed their name from the APFA to the NFL. In 1925, the New York Giants were founded by Tim Mara, who paid a reported $500 to join the NFL. They were named the 4th oldest team. In 1930, the Portsmouth Spartans, you know them today as the Detroit Lions, joined the NFL. In 1932, the Boston Braves, you know them today as the Washington Redskins, and the Commanders joined the NFL. 2 teams in Pennsylvania, you know today as the Steelers and the Eagles, joined the NFL. And the Steelers were named the Pirates, and the Eagles were named the Eagles. In 1933, the owner of the Boston Braves decided it was time for a different name, so he changed to the Boston Redskins. Also in 1933 was the first year that they had divisions. In 1934, the Portsmouth Spartans left Portsmouth and went to Detroit and changed their name to the Detroit Lions. In 1936 was the first year that they had an NFL draft. In 1939, they had the very first broadcast on television of the Brooklyn Dodgers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. In 1940, the Pittsburgh Pirates changed their name to the Steelers. This was also the year that they made a logo
a logo for the NFL. In 1943, since the World War II was going on, so many players got drafted to the Army. A lot of teams left the NFL, but the Steelers and the Eagles combined their teams and became the Steagles. In 1946, the Cleveland Rams moved to Los Angeles. They kept their name. They were known as the Los Angeles Rams. In 1990, 1991, 1992, and 1993, the Buffalo Bills went to the Super Bowl all 4 of those years and did not win one of them. They have never won a Super Bowl. Then, in 2020, Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl. In 2021, he did not go, but in 2022, he went to the Super Bowl but lost it. And then this year, he went to the Super Bowl, and again, he won. I hope you learned a lot about the history of American football. Over to Sawyer Cam.
You must make a lot of money in the NFL. I'd like that.
I agree. It must be nice.
Now we have Kiana with water pollution.
Hi, I'm Kiana. Do you know much about water pollution? Right now in the world, it's bad for our health. Pollution comes from farms, cities, towns, and factories. Pollution from farms comes from fertilizers, pesticides, and animal waste running into rivers when it rains. More pollution comes from showers, sinks, toilets, creating wastewater. Salt from the roads, oil, grease, and chemicals end up in the water after it rains. All these things add up to water pollution. According to Water Facts for Kids, only 2.5% of the water on the planet is drinkable because it's fresh water. If you drink polluted water, you can get cancer and your hormones in your brain can change. If you swim in polluted water, you can get skin rashes, pink eye, and it can cause problems with your lungs. According to the Natural Resources Defense Council, some people have to use bottled water to clean their babies because their water is so polluted. Unsafe water kills more people every year than war. 4,500 children die every day because they can't get clean water. They die from diseases that they could cure if they had clean water. Less than 1% of Earth's water is available to us. I think it's crazy that people have to use bottled water to clean their babies. Imagine how much water you would use on yourself. When you run out of bottled water, what do? You can't keep using your money or you'll go broke. Also, what do we do if we can't find clean water anymore? This is a crazy thing in the world. Hopefully we can fix it. This job is for everyone in this state. Back to you guys.
We need to stop water pollution or we will have no more fresh water.
Some people have to use bottled water to wash their babies. We need to fix this.
Now over to Abby.
Hello, I'm Abby, and I plan to spread awareness on animal testing. Some people don't understand how gruesome animal testing really is, so I'll share some of my research with you. Did you know every 60 seconds or 1 minute, animals are abused to death? More than 110 million animals like mice, rats, frogs, dogs, cats, rabbits, hamsters, guinea pigs, monkeyfish, and birds are killed in United States laboratories for biology lessons, medical training, curiosity experimentation, and things like chemical, drug, food, and cosmetic testing, according to PETA. Some animals intake fumes, have holes drilled into their skulls, have their skin or fur burned off, or have their spinal cords crushed. They have much more gruesome acts forced upon them that I do not feel comfortable repeating, plus it's so horrible. According to World Animal Foundation, or WAF, it takes 12,000 animals and 50 experiments to pass one single pesticide. Some experiments on animals include impregnating females just to run tests on their fetuses. If you ask me, that's really disgusting. Some of your favorite brands like NARS, L'Oreal, MAC, Benefit, Lancome, Make Up Forever, Chanel, and Dior all test on animals or have animal cruelty in their products, and these are only a fragment. Some, in my opinion, delusional people believe animal testing is necessary so when they apply their makeup or shampoo, it doesn't burn their skin or scalp. But if I'm being honest, I'd rather have an itchy scalp for a few weeks than over 110 million animals per year die due to animal testing. If you want to help animals from being harmed and killed every year, pledge to not use any animal testing makeup or household products like NYX, Jason, Giovanni, Soap & Go, Thomas, Bath & Body Works, Wet n Wild, Kiss My Face, The Body Shop, Trader Joe's, and more. If you have any social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, you can post and spread awareness there. There's also a short film on YouTube called Save Ralph by the Human Society of the United States. So watch if you'd like to learn more about ghastly actions that torture animals, which I stated above. Thank you for your time, and please try your best to stop or prevent animal testing in you or your friends' lives. Back to you guys.
I agree with Abby. We should stop animal abuse and animal testing so more animals could stay alive.
110 million animals die each year? That's crazy.
Let's see what Andrew has to say about Rubik's Cubes.
Hi, my name is Alexander and I'll be telling you about the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube was made by Erno Rubik in 1974. According to Smithsonian Magazine, Erno Rubik became obsessed with finding a way to model three-dimensional movement to students. He originally called it the Magic Cube. The cube became a reality to the public in 1980. According to Cubelolo, it took Erno Rubik about a month to solve the cube himself. People could find the cubes in toy stores all over the world. In case you don't know, a Rubik's Cube is a cube that is made up of 27 smaller cubes. Every side of the cube is a different color. There are yellow, white, red, orange, green, and blue sides. You solve the Rubik's Cube by making every side have only one color on it. There are 3 layers that can all turn horizontally and vertically. There are approximately 43 quintillion different scrambles that the Rubik's Cube can be messed up in. The Rubik's Cube became so popular, Ron Van Bruchem and Tyson Mayo came up with a way that people can enjoy the cube even more. They made the WCA, World Cubing Association. The first competition was in August 2004. The WCA became so popular that over 180,000 people came to the competitions all over the world. There are 17 current challenges that have been held at the competitions. The Guinness World Record of a 3x3 cube is 3.47 seconds by Yu Shengdu. Yu Sheng was 23 years old and he was born in China. He started his cubing career in 2015. He broke the record in the Wuhu Open November 24, 2018. The most popular Rubik's Cubes are the 3x3, 2x2, and Pyraminx. The world record for the biggest Rubik's Cube made is the 33x33 by Greg Finnig. The biggest Rubik's Cube that you can buy is the 21x21. The cost is $1,500. Thanks for listening to my news article on Rubik's Cubes.
I don't understand how you can solve it in 3.47 seconds.
I agree with you, Cam, but it does sound fun. Now to Lily talk about homelessness.
Do you realize how many homeless people are in this country? Stacker.com stated that in December 2022, 68,884 people slept in the main New York shelter home. Why is this happening? Something even worse is that homeless people are at risk of getting so many mental illnesses such as anxiety, depression, stress, and so much more. Homelessness can take off 30 to 60 years of your life. In 2019, most homeless people were individual, but lately, parents with children were spotted. That is terrible. I would hate being homeless. CDS.com mentioned that many people say that homeless people should just get a job, but most of them have a job, some 2 or 3. You can't be too fast to jump to conclusions. Every night, thousands of Americans are putting their lives at risk by sleeping on the streets. There are about 700 homeless people in Manchester. A reason why so many people are going homeless is that many of them are veterans that fought in a war and cannot get over the fact that they killed so many people. Some are not able to pay their rent and got foreclosed and are now living on the streets. Another reason is because of drugs and cigarettes. That is terrible. The ways you can help homelessness is you can donate money, clothes, and stuff you don't use anymore. Another way you can help the homeless is you can make fundraisers, volunteer your time, and you can make cards to promote nearby shelters. I hope you learned something new today. Back to Sawyer and Cam.
If these veterans keep going homeless, we will have buildings full of them.
That's a lot of homeless people. We should start helping them.
Over to Sawyer about lacrosse.
Lacrosse started with the Native Americans. It took days for them to finish one game of lacrosse because there were no boundaries. They used sticks to make the lacrosse shaft, with baskets or pockets attached to the stick. The lacrosse balls would be made of deer hide. It dates back to 1100 AD. Lacrosse was sometimes played to settle disputes and was a social event. According to the History Channel, it included 100 to 1,000 different Native American tribes played it and used to prepare them for war with the tribes. According to the Lacrosse Network, that was all up to the 1600s. Then a French missionary saw the term lacrosse in 1637 and loved it. In 1840, Canada found it. By 1959, it became Canada's national sport. In 1877, New York University played Manhattan College to make it the first ever collegiate lacrosse game. In the 1930s, box lacrosse was introduced. Box lacrosse is an indoor game with smaller nets, faster pace, and the goalies have so much more pads than usual. In 1960, plastic heads were made, which made the head way stronger. In 2001, MLL was introduced, which stands for Major League Lacrosse. In 2011, the Lacrosse Network was on YouTube. In 2013, Paul Rabel was known as the $1 Million Athlete. Paul Rabel is really good up to this day. He also became co-founder in 2018 with his brother Mike Rabel of the Professional Lacrosse League in 2018. They merged the MLL and PLL in 2020 to become the PLL that now exists. In 2014, Miles, who is on Georgia Swarm Pro Lacrosse team, and Lyle Thompson, who plays for Georgia Swarm Lacrosse team too, won the Tewaaraton Trophy, which is really big. They are fantastic players too. Now, how to play lacrosse. According to the History Channel, lacrosse has 10 players on the field, 3 attackmen, 3 midfielders, and 3 defenders, and 1 goalie. Attack is the position that stays up by the goal and scores most goals. They can't cross the middle line. Midfield is the one that can go anywhere. They can cross the middle line. Midfield runs up and down the field. They play offense and defense. Defense can't cross the middle line either. Usually defense has longer sticks than attack and midfield. They are called poles. The goalie has a huge net on the stick, so it is easier to catch the ball. The game starts with a face-off. It is when a midfielder fights for the ball on the ground. A face-off is also done after a goal is scored. I hope you know more about lacrosse.
1100 AD? Wow, it's been around for some time.
Last but not least, Cam talking about the ice hotel in Sweden.
Are you someone who likes the cold? Have you ever wanted to go dog sledding? Well, now you can. In Sweden, there's an ice hotel called Ice Hotel. It is the first ever ice hotel, being around since 1989. If you're wondering how much one night costs, 6,600 Swedish krona, and in US dollars, it's $617. That's enough to pay rent. If you think it's too expensive, according to Via Travelers, it's worth the money. And according to TripAdvisor, Ice Hotel has a 4.5 of 5-star rating. With good service, the employees are taught to speak 3 different languages. One is English, the other is Norwegian, and the most obvious, Swedish. Also, according to Do Go News, they say it has amazing gourmet meals. While on the topic of food, there is an assortment of spots to sit and eat. One place is an ice table, another you can see Aurora Borealis or the Northern Lights. If you are still interested in seeing the Northern Lights, there are many activities to see them in, like snowmobiling and dog sledding. If you get sore from these, you can later get a massage. If you're worried about it collapsing, you don't have to, because they use 10,000 tons of ice and 30,000 tons of snow, all used from the Torn River. Now it's time to sleep. Well, where to sleep, you may ask? Well, it's on ice, not literally, as a thick sheet of thermal sleeping bag is guaranteed to keep you warm. To know how they keep it cold, they will keep room temperatures at -1 to -7 degrees Celsius. In Fahrenheit, that's 23 to 30 degrees. You can also go there in the summer. Even without the ice hotel, there is still a lot of activities to do. It may not seem great, but you should still go visit while you can. Back to you guys.
I should start packing my bags. I'm going to Sweden. That'll do it. Thank you for listening to LNC.